success story from the municipality of Frederiksberg in Denmark for stormwater management. To discuss about this, we will have the pleasure to welcome our excellent choice of panelists. I would like to welcome Lenny Stolpermeyer. Hello, Lenny, project manager of Frederiksberg municipality in Denmark, who has a large experience in climate adaptation, focusing on developing, testing, and monitoring solutions for cloudburst management. Lenny, if you can just open your mic and say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to
Hello,
be
Lenny.
here.
Thank you. Happy to have you here with us. And we will also have Panayotis Liasidis, iProcurement National Point of Contact for Cyprus. He is the spokesperson and assistant director of Cyprus Civil Defense and a very active member of the iProcurement project. He has also more than 20 years experience in the public sector. Panayotis, if you can just open your mic and say hi to everyone.
Good morning to all. It's a great pleasure for me to participate to this webinar. Thank you.
Great. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank also our partners from Jira Consulting who set up this series of webinars that is part of a long series of webinars that we have already presented to you on different topics such as managing intellectual property rights or even innovation procurement for security forces. So thank you very much. Before we start with the program, I would like to give you last information on housekeeping. So just to remind you, this webinar will be recorded for dissemination purposes. And if you ever have any questions and answers, you can either put them in the Q&A feature of Teams, or otherwise we will be very pleased to answer to your questions at the end of the presentations. If you ever have any IT or technical problems, just let us know through the chat feature, and we will be pleased to try to help you out with that. I would like just to share my screen, Ebna, if that is possible from your side. Thank you very much. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, we do.
Thank you very much. So before giving the floor to our panelists today, I would like to give you a brief introduction of the iProcurement project. I won't take any long, as some of you already know the project, but I think it's important for those who are just joining us to have a general overview of the project and what we have been doing these 5 years. So the European security market is evolving very fast, as some of you must be aware. New challenges and priorities for law enforcement agencies, especially, and security organizations require, of course, a more resilient and responsive procurement. With this recent transformation, innovative solutions emerge also very fast throughout Europe, and not all of them make it to the market. So this is where iProcurement comes in order to propose an objective that is to create an ecosystem of procurers, prescribers, legal advisors, and all the key stakeholders of security procurement to collect, share, and analyze security procurement trends and needs. For first, having a deeper understanding of the European procurement environment, and also to develop common standardized practices from technical, legal, financial perspective in all the aspects that can be treated through the public procurement of innovation, and if possible, having cross-border joint public procurement with other member states. The ultimate goal is, of course, to make procurement a catalyst for security innovation. The idea is to gather all the key elements and actors in order to propose a more innovative solutions for the security sector in Europe. Some facts and figures about the project. So the iProcurement project is a H2020 project that started in May 2019 and lasting 5 years. So we are getting to the end of the project this year, and we will be, by the way, very pleased to welcome you for the annual conference that we will have, that will take place in a month. you will find more information about this in our website. These are the partners that I had the chance to meet and work with during these 5 years. Together with them, we are having and we'll be showing some key achievements in the next month. And as part of this experience sharing, we will be showing you some other experience in public procurement of innovation, especially. So going back to the challenges that we have proposed to address through the iProcureNet project, we have these 5 most important challenges concerning the legal aspects of the public procurement, the economic, technical, practical, and awareness of information. The idea is to have an overall insight of how we procure our solutions for the security forces in Europe. And for doing that, we need to take into account all of the challenges that might cross the way. For this project, we have proposed an innovative methodology that is divided into 3 cycle processes. iProcureNet will map the European procurement environment to compare national investment strategies. This is the priorities and also the most promising segments in which we need to focus in order to have the best results. Of course, identifying innovation needs and analyze security markets. The idea is to have, at the end of the day, established buyers groups, which is member states who will be willing to go on a joint venture doing joint cross-border public procurement, because we have realized that some priority segments could be shared in terms of procurement for the security forces again. To propose a knowledge from all the key actors of the process, and also having the best and most reactive tools in order to support all the services that are dealing with this in our administrations. So this is just an overview of how we can go from the commercial off-the-shelf products or solutions for our services that we may know, trying to identify the opportunities, doing feasibility analysis, and of course proposing how we can jointly procure and giving an innovative solution for all the services. This is the way we have divided the 3 different cycles throughout the life of the project. And of course, by doing this, we will be able to identify the most innovative solution to be used. Of course, this methodology will be based on a tailored guideline and a knowledge based on practical, economic, legal, technical, and all the aspects that I just mentioned in the challenges that might be necessary for doing joint cross-border public procurement and uptaking, of course, the innovation. This innovative methodology that was proposed, of course, will be based on these kind of exercises in which we will show you with real cases and real examples how some other segments and some other sectors in Europe are already procuring innovative solutions, and of course giving you some
sorry
yes.
Jorge, we can't see the slides. You are not scrolling the slides.
I will just go back to them so if you can see. Can you tell me if it's okay now?
No, we are only seeing the first one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Now it's better. Yeah.
I'm so sorry for that. I'll just try to make it a little bit bigger so you can have a better view of the information that we have put here. I was just about to finish, so it's not an issue. Thank you very much, Emna, for that. So we are gathering all the experts that take part of the process from the industry in order to identify the innovative solutions to develop common and standardized needs. And again, if we find the best response in joint procurement practices, having the tools to achieve these goals through innovation procurement. Again, as I was saying before, this is one of the results of what we have been proposing through the training workshops and conferences, in which we try our best to give you real examples and real cases in which we are already doing this. The idea is to have a comparative analysis from different sectors in order to have a better overview of what is possible in terms of innovation procurement. And of course, and most importantly, the building of a network and community of all the stakeholders from the academia through institutions and European or international organizations who are interested in public security procurement, because of course we need to have this overview of what is already happening and how the procurement is evolving in Europe. So of course I will give you some other details. If you ever have any questions, we will be very pleased to welcome you in our iProcurement community. You will have here the links, so you can contact our coordinator, myself, and the team, of course, who will be giving you some information. And of course, this is a kind invitation for you to join and stay tuned on what we are doing in public procurement. And you will find also the recorded sessions of previous webinars and all the information you might need for your organization and your initiatives in terms of public procurement and innovation. So stay in touch, and please do not hesitate to send us any kind of questions about the project and about the results and what we are doing in the following month. Thank you very much. I would like to give you the floor to Panayotis, who will give us an overview of the most important challenges that has already been identified in Cyprus, and how Cyprus have been doing dealing with this climate resilience plan. And of course, we have already identified the importance of having these coordinated actions, not only for the security sectors within a member state, but also in Europe, in order to have the best response to the challenges that will come in the next years. So Panayotis, if you are ready to start, I will be pleased to give you the floor.
Thank you, George. Thanks a lot. I will share my screen.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can see my screen.
It's coming.
Yes.
Okay.
There it is. Perfect.
So I will say a few words about the climate change and how iProcurement can support all these changes. So the content, I don't know, so I have to like this. Can see it in full screen now. It's okay.
Yes.
So the content of the presentation is the climate change milestones, the consequences, the future challenges, the resilience, climate resilience, the civil protection measures, and the innovative systems. Let's see now some milestones. So, as you know, some years ago we spoke about climate change. Now we speak about climate crisis. Now we have more frequent and severe emergencies. In the future, we'll have adaptation based to the new challenges. And then we have to build the climate resilience societies. For this one, we need innovative measures that will reinforce the climate resilience. So I checked the EU website, and then I found in the climate action some consequences that will have due to the climate change. We'll have some natural consequences for drought and wildfires, availability of fresh waters, floods, sea level rise and coastal areas, biodiversity, soils, inland water, and marine environment. These will be some of the, let's say, the consequences that will have the sectors that will have some changes. Here we can see the increase of the temperature the last years. We can see this is the average temperature, and we see that up to, let's say, 1980, we had, let's say, temperatures that were over and lower than the average temperature. From 1980, we see that we have higher temperatures from the average, and this I think that can give a big number of messages. So about the social threats, as you know, if we have, let's say, the climate change, maybe it will create some problems to the health sector. We have the vulnerable population that for sure they will have more problems to cope for in case we have the climate change consequences. We'll have problems to the employment, to the education. Also, we'll have business threats, especially for the energy. So we'll need more, let's say, energy for the heating. No, less energy for the heating in the north, and more energy for the cooling in the south. For the agriculture, we have problems for the forestry because the change and the droughts will bring more, let's say, forest fires. Since we'll have more risk, so we'll have more insurances in also many other sectors. The tourism environment for sure will change, and also we'll have some cross-cutting issues. For sure, we have territorial threats in the Arctic, the Northern Europe, Northwestern Europe, especially in the Mediterranean, and especially, yes, in the Mediterranean region. We'll have problem with the increase of the temperature with the increase of forest fires, and also with them we will have less water, and the same for urban and mountain areas. So what we have to do in order to have climate resilience? We need better planning for prevention, preparedness, and response to events due to the climate. More flexibility in order to take into consideration the complexity and the severe consequences of the climate-related emergencies. Development of preparedness and protection culture to all the stakeholders. So the citizens, they have to learn about these changes, these challenges that we'll have the next years, and to be more prepared. We need to have campaigns through media and other channels in order for the citizens to learn about the self-protection measures. We need to make an adaptation. We need to have an adaptation of the quality and the availability of the equipment based to the new challenges. We need innovative early warning solutions in order to the people, the population, to be to have the information as soon as possible. And the last one is the simplification of the procedures for the supply of equipment. So in case we need, let's say, to have early warning equipment, which is for the protection of the population, maybe it's better to find ways for the simplification of the procedures in order to save time. So how the procurement can contribute to this, let's say, preparations for the climate resilience. The procurement platform can give access to the emergency services, to the suppliers, to the academic and innovation centers, to local authorities, and the professional association. So in this platform, all these people have access, so they can give, they can discuss, they can give, let's say, some suggestions, and this will give more information to the people for the better preparation, and maybe them to apply and buy the last, let's say, technology equipment. And this can give you the chance for joint procurements, which will result to lower prices, better quality, time saving, avoidance of duplication, and interoperability, and etc. etc. So I don't know if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I don't know if we can do it at the end. Emna?
Thank you very much, Panayiotis. In the meantime, we check. We're going to check if we have any questions in the chat feature. But I would like to just thank you again for this presentation. Of course, I may have one question concerning
Yes,
this, of course, urges that we have identified also within the iProcurement project. How can we interact within all the security forces in Europe in order to have a coordinated actions in terms of innovation procurement? This is, do you think it will be possible to have a common initiative together with police officers and other security forces and, of course, the civil protection in order to have a common response in case of one of these challenges that you have mentioned during your presentation? And how can we coordinate? And of course, if you already have something in place in Cyprus to organize this responsiveness from security forces.
Yeah, I think the most important is that now we have this platform that will have access all these stakeholders. This is very important. The next thing, I think that at the end of the project, we'll disseminate the results, the conclusions of the project to the desk officer in Brussels. So we see the importance of this initiative, and I think it's very important all the services to have. For now, we have this platform, so the place that we can discuss and find the ways. And maybe it's a good idea to present the results of the project and in civil protection authorities during the meetings that we have very often in Brussels, 2 or 3 times per year. And with this one, I think it's a good opportunity, a good chance to promote and disseminate the results of the project, and then the civil protection authorities and the other authorities, security and protection authorities, to see how can be benefited from the project. I don't know if I was clear or you need more clarifications, George.
Yes, Panayiotis, thank you. And we had a chance to discuss about this when we were in Cyprus. You know, by the way, you know, just to show the importance of the topic, we were having a very hot day, and we were having these discussions about, you know, fire and how we are dealing with this. Just another question that we have from one of the participants concerning the level of budget and the resources that member states are allowing to these climate resilience plans. So what is your opinion about this? Do you think is this enough? We should maybe have more efforts from the governments to deal with these climate resilience plans.
Yeah, I think every country has its own risk assessment. So this one will lead to some, let's say, to improve the planning. And based on this planning, and considering that we'll have more and more frequent all these extreme let's say weather conditions, I think it's good to all the countries to see this risk assessment and then to adjust their budgets based to what are expecting in every country.
Perfect. Thank you again, Panayiotis, for this great presentation and for your answers to the questions from participants. I would like next hand it over to Lenny, who will give us a real example and maybe the difficulties and the challenges she has encountered in this journey of trying to deal with an urgency in terms of resilience and also doing innovation procurement at the same time. So I think we have many things to learn from your experience, even though we are in different frameworks, as we are, from a municipality that maybe doesn't have the same regulations as we are, from security services. Most of them are from state organizations, so we have different in the ways we do the innovation procurement, but the essential of the initiative should be the same, the correct answer to a need, and of course, adding to this a challenge for climate resilience. So, Lenny, thank you again, and I will be pleased to give you the floor.
Thank you. I will just try sharing my screen. Do you see my presentation?
Yes.
And is it in presentation mode so that you only see one slide?
No, Lynn, we are not seeing the. Okay.
Okay, how about now?
We're seeing it very well.
Perfect. I'm happy to be here to tell you about the experience we have at Frederiksberg. Frederiksberg is a small municipality, actually embedded by the capital of Denmark, Copenhagen. We are about 100,000 citizens, and very close to our politicians, which is very handy when you need to do innovation, that you have a clear political backing for the things you want to do, and an easy way to make sure that there are money for those initiatives. Today, I will tell you about our experience with the stormwater management solutions, and we have in Frederiksberg suffered severe damages from cloudbursts in the previous years. These pictures are from 2011, where we had a major cloudburst flooding large parts of the municipality. And since then, we have had a plan for how to handle the water so that we can try to secure our citizens so that they won't get water in their basements or other places where it's not ideal to have water. While we are talking about stormwater management, we will also always think about other climate resilience topics. We want to reuse the rainwater, we want to water our trees, we want to have urban spaces where we can kind of mix the solution for biodiversity, urban heat island effect, and so on, so that we not only try to find solution that works to water management, but also that can address some of these other topics that we need to deal with, and especially now while the climate resilience is not only water but also urban heat island effect and drought and so on. This private-public innovation, which has many forms, and I don't know how much you know about it already. When I began this back in 2017, I didn't know much about public-private innovation, and I got a lot of information about different ways to do it. And I will kind of go through them, but I will focus on the innovation partnership. But just to give you an idea, I will tell you of some examples that we have done at Frederiksberg. And actually, the important thing is to co-develop with private companies. I mean, we have needs in the municipalities. problems, things we want to address, and we might have an idea at the municipality, the staff here, but we don't always have the right solutions or the right knowledge to find the solution. And that's why the importance of working together with private companies that actually know a lot about these things comes in handy. So for example, we have had some projects where we just developed together with a company. We don't have any contract. We just talk to them and they say, well, hey, we have an idea. Let's, for example, as you can see in the middle picture, we have this fence that covers for the tree so that the cars don't bump into the tree. And at the same time, it's able to, you put water into these, into the system, and it will go down to the soil underneath the tree and water the tree directly with the water that you put into this. So it's kind of a double function. And the company just had this idea, and we said, well, that would be lovely. Let's try that. And we told them our needs for watering our trees, and they developed this, and we bought it afterwards. And in the same way, we have a grate, for example, where the water, we had a problem getting the water from the street into the rain bed. And because the grate always cluttered with the leaves, for example. And then this company that made them, we got into a dialogue, and they said, well, if we can do this and that, will you then try it? So that we're kind of like a test facility for their product. And we agreed on that. And again, we just did the co-development, and we bought the solution afterwards. So that's the easy one, just co-development without a contract. But sometimes you need a contract to kind of get all the all the things you have to handle in place. And you can have a private public innovation with a contract where you kind of develop the thing you want together, and then you buy it, and you try to put it into your existing project. So for example, in this case, we needed to capture some water and keep it there until there is room in the sewage system to lead it to the sewage. So all the rainwater is kind of in a kind of retention basin. The problem in Frederiksberg is that we often haven't that much space. It's very densely built, the city, and in the streets there are a lot of there is a lot of, there is gas and the sewage and the fiber net and everything is there. So we don't have that much space. So we really wanted to have a kind of a basin or system that we could put in just very near to the surface. Normally, these basins, they need to go down to 80 centimeters, because otherwise they won't be stable when the heavy traffic is on top of them. So we wanted to find a system where we can only have 40 centimeters on top, and where the CO2 footprint was lower than the usual plastic cassettes that we use. So in this case, we had a project where we wanted to try this system, and we made the co-development with the manufacturer, and we kind of had a talk with him with the idea he had and with the demands that we had, and then found out how this should be. And then after several years, actually, he got this on the market, and or he didn't get it on the market. We tried it first, and then afterwards he got it on the market. And the good thing about this is that we can do this without a tender. We can have a contract with him because we already have an existing project, and we can buy it in that. And then afterwards, we could make a framework agreement, which of course is with a tender, and the guy here could make a bid with his system, and we could have a framework agreement for 2 + 2 years, 4 years in total. So that's the kind of the more simple ways to do the public-private innovation. And now I will focus on the innovation partnership, which we have made here in Frederiksberg. And the innovation partnership is kind of a long procedure. You need to have of course, you demand what you need for a solution, and then you have a market dialogue, and then you do a tender with the dialogue and negotiations, and then you purchase this solution and the development of the solution and try it out. And there is a framework within the innovation partnership tender, so that if the solution actually works and you like it, then you can buy it. And I will get more into detail on these different, just so that you had an idea. So why is it that we actually want the innovation partnership? For Frederiksberg, it was clear that we had some new solution that we needed that wasn't existing, and we wasn't quite sure of what the solution should be. We had kind of demands of what we wished for, but we didn't know how to do it. So we wanted to collaborate with these private companies to get some better solution. And therefore the market dialogue was very good, because then you could have more knowledge about the market and what was actually out there and the ideas that they have, so that you could write a tender. Because normally, or not normally, but often, when the municipality write a tender, they describe a solution that they actually know. And then when they do when they get the solution, it might not fit exactly to what it should, or it didn't meet the expectations, and the manufacturers say, well, we had another idea, but we can't give you that idea because you have already described the solution very narrow. So to get away from these non-optimal tenders, the innovation partnership is a very good idea. And then there is, of course, the part about the framework agreement afterwards that gives you a possibility of less time spent on tender, and also because you, after a while, know the entrepreneurs and the contractors very well, so the construction time will be faster. So there is a lot of possibilities when you do the innovation partnership. And as I said, this co-development that leads to better solution, and also that the co-development and the development is not only within the first part of the innovation partnership, it's also when you do the framework agreement afterwards, you will be able to develop on the solution through all the time, all the years that this framework agreement lasts. And of course, there is this thing about how you price it and what's the level of information, and I will get into that later on. And of course, this is, I would be lying if I told you that it's all possibilities, because it's also challenges. The co-development is very good when it works, but it needs to be worked on, because the traditional thinking is often that the manufacturer has an idea for something and they come and present it, and that's it. So you always need to say, well, what do I think, and how can we change it, and kind of be flexible about it. And the other thing about this innovation partnership is that you price it at the beginning when you sign the contract, but you do actually not know the solution in full. And in that case, it could be it is very hard to price something that you don't know. And then you also have to make sure that the partners in the consortium are the right partners, and I will get into that later on too. So just to tell you about the journey that we went on with this innovation partnership. We had a political backing. It was anchored in one department, and I think that everyone should be very aware of that. You need to be sure that you have the backing you need, and you have the mandate to do the things that you want to. Otherwise, it's very hard to get the private companies involved in this. And also the financials, you should beforehand have an idea of who's going to pay for this, because it is a lot of work, and you buy a solution, and you can't just go out to say to them that well, now we have an idea, would you come? And then no, we need to find the money, and we don't know when. And so what we did was that we have an annual funding for these cloud-based projects that we do, and in there we could find the money for this, so we could actually go out to say to the private companies, yeah, we are ready. It's right now that we want to do this. It's not something that's just going to be in the drawer for the next 2 years, and then maybe we get back to you. But actually, it's we are up and running and ready for this. And when I say that we were ready for this, it depends on the people that you have on the project, because you need, of course, committed employers that want to work with this, but you also need lawyers with the right knowledge of these kind of tenders, and you need a process facilitator to make sure that the co-development between the municipality or whatever sector is and the private companies that works well. So what we did was that we back in 2017 we had the market dialogue in February, and then we had the tender out in June. We signed a contract in December and started innovation in January, and did the construction implementation of the solution in July and September. So 1.5 years from start to end. This could be a longer period of time. It depends on the solution that you want to have. We decided that we needed to try this out, and it needed to be in a rather not that long period, not because we thought that if it took too long time, we might lose the momentum, and we didn't want that. So we decided that the solution was, from the market dialogue and the dialogue we had with the companies during the tender, that there was some existing solution that needed to be fitted in a new way, so that there was only a smaller part that was actually going to be developed. And that's why we could have only a 3 months development time. In other solution, it might be half a year or 1 year, or I think that they often say that it shouldn't be longer than 3 years in total. But we decided on this kind of faster one, and it went very well. To give you an idea of what we were looking for, we wanted to capture the rainwater, and we wanted to use the water to water our trees. So the trees should be connected directly to the system, and it should be able to take a cloudburst and make sure that the roads were free within 30 minutes afterwards. And they should be able to implement it in the existing road structure, meaning that we wouldn't dig up a whole road. We would just do some kind of spots where these solution could be digged down. So what we did to start up the innovation partnership was that we had a market dialogue. Actually, we had it over 2 days. And on the first day, we talked about what were the existing solutions and what were our needs and what were the ideas for how to develop a new solution. And sometimes it's difficult because when a lot of different people get into the same room and they maybe have some ideas that they want to keep confidential, then you need to take care of that. So we kind of had a setup where if they weren't confident with telling their ideas there, then we would have a separate meeting with them afterwards. Sorry, but actually most of the time they were actually quite open with their ideas. And that maybe because it's a small, there are not that many actors stakeholders in this market, so they know each other from the beginning, and they are kind of maybe already working together. So it wasn't that big a problem. On the second day, we talked a lot about what the condition for success would be. For example, that both parties need to take a risk, and what is the actual outcome? What is who owns the product afterwards, and all these things. We also talked about the level of innovation, and that we need to agree on the expectations from both parties needs to match. And of course, the financing and the roles and responsibility of who would take the. Of course, it was the municipality that needed to take the leading role, but also with the project managers on both sides that we needed to make sure that there was anchoring both in the private company and also in the municipalities. Then after the market dialogue, we made a tender, and this tender material we sent out to all the participants that was at the market dialogue, to just ask them, if this tender, if we describe it like this, would you be able to bid in with your solutions? And then we got a lot of ideas or comments on if you do like this, then we will not be able, and this is not possible for some reason. And then we rewrote the tender, and finally we were ready to put it out in June. And then afterwards there was a period where the bidding companies were able to ask questions, and we could answer. And then we did another round of rereading of this tender material, and then we went into negotiations with the parties that bid on the tender, and once again looked at the tender and put in the correction that was needed to get these people to come in with their solutions. And then we were ready to have the final contract and so on. And just to say something about it on the way, the negotiations that we had with the companies, we had 7 bidders on this tender. 2 of them unfortunately didn't meet the demands. So we ended up with 5, and one of them withdrew after they were invited for the negotiation. So we had 4 that we talked to, and the main thing here was that we really found out that it was very important that you are straightforward. These negotiation was kind of you were equal on both sides, so that you need to come to an agreement, and you need to very precise on where the tender or where the contract doesn't meet what you can match. And that was very hard for the companies to kind of get into these parts, but we really tried, and we got it. Yeah, it worked in the end. Then we had the contract signed, and out of the 4 that we had negotiations with, we signed a contract with 2 consortiums. And in these consortiums, we found out that it was very important how they were within the consortium, how they were who had the lead. Because in one consortium, it was kind of the manufacturer that was in the lead, and the advisory company was kind of just in the background helping. And in the other one, it was the advisory company that was the lead. And then they have the subtractors, the entrepreneurs, and the manufacturers, and so on, landscape architects. And it was from the beginning very. It was quickly seen that the consortium that had the manufacturer in the front was the one that worked best, because they were the one that could see the idea of actually develop the solution, because they were the ones that benefits and can sell the solution afterwards to other places too. So they kind of had a very keen energy on developing this solution, whereas the advisory company maybe had the ideas, but they had a problem with getting their subcontractors engaged in this idea. But to say with this development that it's important that you always try to challenge the innovation to get most out of it, and you need to get a broad range of people there, from the maintenance to the road construction to the whatever. Get them all in from the beginning, and make sure that you listen to all the needs, all the comments that they have, so that you get this development or the solution developed so that it will fit to all the demands in the end. And it is time consuming to have these workshops where you do the development of the co-development, but it's also very important, and it brought the solution up to a whole other level than even the one that the idea that the consortiums had from the start was developed throughout the development, and also through the implementation of the solution. It worked very well, but it was also time consuming. Some of the difficult parts was the price setting, because how do you price something that you don't know actually? And what we did was that when throughout the development where things changed, we during that time tried to see, okay, if this is changed, how much more will it cost? If something is left out because we don't need that somehow, then how much money would that give us today to do extra innovation? And what we did was actually to find out that we had a kind of a basis that was within the original contract, and then if we had an idea or something came up that was very interesting, then we agreed on that would be an extra thing that we could buy on as an option to the contract. So we kind of developed a setup that would work so that we got as much development in the projects as possible. So we went with these two consortiums, and they both managed to come up with two solutions that worked very well. We have implemented them in different roads at Frederiksberg. I think in a total we had 5 roads from one of the consortiums and 7 from the other ones during this framework agreement. We stopped with one of the consortiums because they actually wanted to withdraw because they didn't think that the money they got for the solution match what it cost them to implement it, because the problem with the framework agreement is that you at the beginning, when you sign the contract, you also sign for the framework agreement for that price that you at the beginning thought the solution would cost. And then in the end, if the solution actually for the company is more expensive, then it's just too bad, because the municipality could say, now we want like 10 roads with this solution, and you have to deliver because that's what you signed up at the beginning. And I think that the consortium didn't actually know that they were kind of signing up to match all the projects that the municipality actually had. So we made an agreement with one of the consortiums that we wouldn't ask them to. We would ask them if they want to bid in on one of these roads, but we wouldn't force them to do it if they thought that they would lose money on the road. So we kind of spent a lot of time on one of the consortiums because they were able to deliver, and the other one was just on hold. I think I managed just within time to do this speech talk on the innovation partnership. I know that you maybe have a lot of questions, and you are welcome to ask them, and you're also welcome to afterwards to get my email address and contact me if you want further information. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Lenny. This was really, really interesting. I have written a lot of questions that I may have from my side, but I will be pleased to share with all the partners and all the participants to the webinar. I would like to just stick to the time that we have given everyone to this webinar. This was really, I might just have one little question, and it's a very specific one. Did you benefit from any financing from the European Commission? And if so, was it difficult to put in place?
We did. We had an Interreg project. That's it was a Danish-Swedish project, and the financial part was that they paid 40% of the cost that we had, and that was for our time, and also for the lawyers, and for the we have an external process facilitator that also was paid, and the rest we paid ourselves. The municipality paid it from our normal funding. But I think that we would have done it anyway, even though we didn't have. But the project was a IP public-private innovation, how do we do tenders? So it was natural that we did it in that way, and it also made us focus on the innovation partnership instead of these smaller types or easier types of innovation partner. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. I would just like to thank both of you and all the participants for this very interesting webinar. We didn't have enough time to go through the questions, but of course we'll be pleased to answer to them either through